even impossible things. You never once looked at me like I was crazy.
Everyone who goes inside this house either comes out cracked up or doesn't come out at all. You gotta open your eyes.
I cannot give up on you.
This is not a time to be brave. This is a time to be smart.
All this beauty, this energy, what holds it together? What keeps it from dissolving into noise?
Cue spots in 5, 4, 2, 1.
For this, but so I was taken out of reality, and since I was taken out of it, I was shown how people were living out a story that was created by this hand. That's all I saw it as a hand, but I was out of it. So since I was out of it, I was then able to edit my story. I was able to edit my story in a way that something bigger than the person just talking to you kind of right now is working on. And it was very touching and very awesome to experience that. And as long as I continue to believe that, I'm gonna keep on going. Just like in Alice in Wonderland, every time she went to Wonderland, she didn't remember. She didn't remember what was happening to her. And they kept saying, oh, you are not the real Alex. Our Alex knows what's going on. Who is this girl, man? And the whole story was about her remembering about how powerful she was in order to defeat the Jabberwocky. So that just tie, guys. Just tie. Just think about these things. I would just say it's some truth to what we talk about on this channel about manifesting your life and about how life is in your control, but we're all creating this life in the aggregate, which means we're all creating this life all together. So it is just you can edit things, but it's still based off of what everybody else is believing, and their thought concepts are all being held up at the same time. And it's all about us coming to a point of awareness where we can now start playing around with our stories instead of living out the same old tune to running to the beat of the same drum, but start putting some more syncopation in there, switching things up a bit. Coming with a swing hook around the third corner. Instead of just walking straight and turning left, right, stop, backwards, left, right. But do some curves in there. Or go through a pier and pop out over there. Like you go through there, go through that door, you'll pop out in Atlanta. That's how I want to see, that's how I see reality. And that's big when a big thing in my part when he's talking about the invisible self versus the visible self. The OA was talking to the invisible self of people a lot. And that's what I do on this channel. I talk to the invisible self. That's the level that we exist on. Or I would say in terms, we talking on fourth to fifth dimensional terms now. Shout out to Flight Boss for that terminology. But that's the sense. The invisible self versus the visible self, which is the thing that just thinks that, oh, this is all that's it. The little old me that just runs around in this reality, the AI figure, the artificial body that just like, man, this sucks. What's going on? Like, or they don't always gotta say it sucks, but just the thing that most time thinks that this is it. Oh, man, like having that bigger sense of reality is having a bigger grasp of consciousness, I think, of what's, or at least what's going on in consciousness. And the more you know, the more you grow. Didn't they say that? But the invisible self is hidden in a lot of people. It's hidden. A lot of people not connected to their hearts. They speak from their thoughts. They don't speak from the heart. So that was I thank you, OA, for touching on that. Or I thank you, Britt, for touching on that. Or Perry. Which one am I talking to? Oh, and another thing about Britt Marlin is that she made the movie Another Earth that I want to tie on another time, because I watched that movie a couple years ago when during my awakening, I call it my awakening process. That was one of the movies I ran across when I was coming across Nibiru and the 13th planet and things like that. And that movie was nice. So check out Another Earth. Another Earth. Oh yeah, the movements, they all learn the movements and things like that. I was talking about that, how they go into yoga. And what was wild was when it was starting to come to the conclusion was in season part 1 was that it ended with like a school shooting. Well, kind of school. Yeah, some people did get shot, I think. It was a school shooting. And then it came up with Away getting shot in the end. But the teenagers and the teacher doing the movements. So when Owe was shot, she was able to be transferred to another world, transferred to another dimension. And I saw this on YouTube, I give the credit, but when she got shot, if you zoom in, I put a picture here where she was shot, you can see how it makes a star wearer. And in occult magic and things, and occult only means hidden. Occult only means hidden, occultum. And that is a transportation vehicle. That is a transportation vehicle for your macabre. It can be, and for protection and things like that. There's a lot going on. And the teacher was cool. Just to tell on the teacher, I found out that she played the voice of sadness in what was that movie? Inside Out. Philip Smith. And in The Office, Inside Out. And she was cool because she was so wary about what was going on. She doubted herself a lot. There was a lot, man. And then eventually she got things together, and she's able to pull a couple strings with her cousin and things to keep the story going. I ain't gonna get into all the nitty gritty because y'all gotta watch the show. Or I'll probably do other episodes just on every character individually. But yeah, guys, now we get into part 2. What was happening during part 2 was even more, well, not even more, it just was continuing the extravagance of part 1. And the wild ride continues because Oe did not die. But what she did was actually go to another dimension. She went to another place. She forked reality. And I was like, is this what she had to give up? Because she had her parents there. She was parrying that dimension. She was seeing how selfless the kids were when they were doing the dance in order to help her. Instinctively during that situation, travel to the dimension, because they didn't really know what they was doing. She was leaving that was what she had to leave behind, but her will was strong enough to traverse her to the other dimension. She was now strong enough after seeing all of this. When she was crying, standing there, all the tears going in her eyes in part 1, that all was strength. That was all strength. And then she arrived in another dimension, and she wakes up at this at the hospital. And to tie it in, Harp and them, Homer and them, they never escaped either. What they actually did was, once he got them all to learn the moves, Hap got them to all do it, and they all transferred to another dimension. So they transferred and they was gone. So that's the story Perry was telling to the people, to the teenagers, all of the first story. So, and that was she saying, man, I gotta go find my Homer. I gotta find my Homer. So now during the second part, she's in this other dimension, and she finds Dr. Roberts, who is Homer, in this dimension, but he doesn't realize. He finds Hap, who is now a respected doctor in this dimension. He has a whole nother timeline worth of experiences, but he still, which what we had to tie on, he still has the knowledge and thoughts and all the life of what happened before in the other life, before he was this one. And during psilocybin experiences, I'll just tie it on psychedelic experiences. I had experiences of having a whole totally different life. And some people that have experience of having multiple, like 99,000 trillion lives, living out lives of where they was a mom or a dad, and they lived the whole life, they died, and then went to another one, and I haven't had that grand of experience. But I feel as though that's what's been happening to me. And I feel as though my trips, they're like, yo, I'm either like a tree or just something that's just not my body. That I have a whole experience of something that's just not my body. That's another thing, coming back to experiences, it's really hard to bring it back in words. much easier in pictures, which still fail to suffice, but do a lot more justice. But yeah, she says that, yeah, I would forgot what I was tying on, but tying on multiple, as though you lived out multiple lives before you lived the one that you are living now. If you ever had these experiences, leave it in the comments below. Let me know what you was experiencing, and all of that, and join the Discord and share it. Even if you want to get more personal, that you don't want the world to know, but just people in the Discord, hey, share it in the Discord. We all here. But and also the Facebook group, just Tai Now, secret group, or just something like that. But yeah, living out multiple lives. Hep, he has all these memories. So he's different than the other people walking around in his reality, because they don't remember different people. They don't remember who they are, except for this one lady he runs across who is also a traveler. And she reveals herself as a traveler. She can sense that he is a traveler as well. And I said for the longest of times that, yo, I can tell. I tell this to people that don't take psychedelics, so it would be kind of crazy when I was telling them, but I would say, yo, I can tell when somebody had a psychedelic experience, or messed with the mushroom, or messed with DMT or something, without them even saying any words. I can really tell. I really have that essence. It's really an essence about them that it's not even about the way they walk, alright? It's just something else. I always had that sense about it. So, seeing Hep, when he was saying he's seen it in art and things like that, that is another way of seeing it. But as well, this traveler just was able to see Hep and just was able to tell. Just was able to tell, like I'm trying to say. Keyword trying. Alright, had to make sure it was still recording. But yeah, unlike the other people, he has this knowledge. So to me, he's like this guy now that has taken advantage of knowledge, taken advantage of these experiences. Cause I'm not gonna use good guy or bad guy in my storytelling. But he taking advantage of these experiences and taking advantage of the knowledge and the know-how in order to gain so-called more knowledge and know-how, and that's about it. Only for his personal gain, which is not what the OA is in it for, not what Perry is in it for. And in this dimension, she is somebody else, but she too remembers that she's still Perry. And she doesn't remember, have memories of who the other person is in this dimension. She just woke up in this body like, yo, what's going on? Who am I? And I read reports of people that smoke salvia too, that have, it seemed like they just woke up in another body. They just woke up in another body in a whole nother world. And they still had their thoughts, but it was just a whole nother life. And not like you were still you going somewhere else, but that you were somebody else doing something else. So that ties into this real world experience. Or real world experience. What's real, guys? What's real? I ask you. So with the OA going into the other dimension, Perry going into the other dimension, she wants to figure out what is going on, and she's at a hospital that is now run by Hap. The doctor, I don't know his new name, I'm still just calling him Hap. She wakes him, doctor run by Hap, tries to convince Dr. Roberts Homer who he really is. She's like, I don't know who you talking about. You're suffering from dementia just like these other people. And the other people he talking about are the other travelers that was stuck in the basement with them that traveled with Hap. But in this dimension, they still all wound up being all locked up and still all wound up being connected together somehow. Even though they all travel and could have all had other lives where it was good, they all wound up still having this relationship of doing something in them being like the recipients of his madness. And that's like a play on life. Like people, oh, well, crying out. It's a lot that's going on with, I see it in a bigger scale of fate of what's going on. But it's still up to your will, and it's still up to our will to traverse deeper and deeper into the darkness for ourselves in order to change that control factor, so that it's never a sense of somebody literally having a experimenting on us in that way. You know, still levels to the shit. Still levels to the shit. So rabbit holes goes. Or the gopher hole goes. Why we always gotta say rabbit hole? What about gopher hole? But as far as the gopher hole goes, it even rhymes better. Gopher hole. But and also during part 2 we run into what is his name? Kareem. His name is Kareem, Tai. Get it right. Got smoking all the time. I'm thinking it's weed. But it's this game, part 2, the go off the always centered story ran. Part 2 centers around this game that is created by this I was about to say scientist, by this guy that learns the power of dreams and the future power of dreams, like how you can see glimpses of the future in dreams, especially when you collect a lot of people dreams together and see symbols, similar symbols in their collective dreams, and then focus on that. So with that, he invented a game. What is that game called? I'll say the name in a bit. I don't know the name of the game. But he invents this game where he is able now to recruit people to, as well as he has this other lady, this Russian lady, who collects children by playing this game that just, you find it on a whim. You just find it by scouring the internet or just on the yo. But it's like the ones that's in the know only get to find it out. The ones in the know get to know, you know? So it's based off, and so he puts it out there to pick children to see their intelligence. And intelligence is not what people think. It's not just based off your head, what you can deduce in your head, but intelligence inspires a creative factor. Like intelligence is your intellect and like Genesis, and I forgot the word I'm talking about. Intellect and Genesis, intelligence, scenario, generates. All of those words come to my head. So when you put all those together, that's combining your mind with your heart. Just that's true intelligence. That's creativeness, being creative. So that's where he created this game for, in order to pick apart the kids that was going to be able to have the dreams that he wanted them to have. Because I believe too that since I see me as part of this game as well, finding kids, but I'm 27, whatever. Finding kids that are able to have lucid enough dreams to find these symbols so that he can now benefit from them, because he's living out on this huge mansion top. He got pools looking over the cliff and everything. He's living out good. And I was watching some videos saying he predicted ride sharing and cryptocurrency, and that's why how he got all the money. But he was predicting something that was allowing him to acquire all the wealth without him having to do the work, without him having to have these lucid dreams himself. He was using this Russian lady that loved collecting dreams, because she just thought it was something cool, like, oh, these kids are dreaming. But also she did feel as though she had a bad part to play about how they was tricking the kids and things like that. But the Soviet Union, of just how the Soviet Union was able to, it was a group of dreamers that they got together that predicted the Nazis in Germany and in real life. And this is just some random fact. And also my dreams, a lot of my dreams, that's why I write them down myself, because I was learning from people before me. That's the people before me, that if you write it down, you get glimpses into what's going on in your life and a whole nother sense of awareness, so that you can now act differently and not avoid a lesson. Like, avoid a lesson means avoid an angle, opposition in the in the stars. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure y'all check out part 1 and 2. 4 is coming out pretty soon, today or tomorrow. But it's gonna be right here, so click away. Just Tai, man, we all Tai. But do we really Tai? Sometimes I don't know, dude. Sometimes I really don't know. Thanks for watching.